Hi there, this is Teresa from Teresa's Crochet Shop. In this video, I'll be showing you how to assemble this little cat and how to embroider the details on its face and ears. The full pattern for this little cat is available on my website, teresascrochetshop.com. You can find the link to the pattern in the description below. In order to make all the parts of this cat, you will need to know how to chain and single crochet. You will also need to use a decrease stitch, which will be explained at the beginning of the pattern. Now in this video, I'll not be showing how to crochet the pieces, just how to assemble them and add the little details on the face. So here's what you'll need to make this cat. First of all, you'll need some black yarn and a crochet hook. I use worsted or medium weight acrylic yarn, and I use a 3.75mm crochet hook. You can use whatever yarn you like, just make sure that the hook you use is one size smaller than what is recommended on the label. You will also need 2 strands of pink yarn. These will be used for the nose and the details on the ears. 1 strand of white yarn for the detail under the eyes. You will also need a strand of white embroidery floss. You could also use white yarn here, but I like the thinner look of the embroidery floss. To get that thinner look, you could use a thinner yarn, or you could use a regular strand of yarn and pull it apart into 2 sections so that you're only working with half of it to sew on the whiskers. You will also need a yarn needle, 2 black safety eyes, 12mm, and some poly-fil stuffing. Okay, so let's begin assembling the cat. First of all, I've inserted the 12mm safety eyes into the head. Now I am going to put the washers onto the back of the eyes. Okay, next we'll be sewing on the nose for the little cat. So thread your pink yarn onto your yarn needle, and then you have 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in between the 2 eyes. So you want the nose to be as centered as possible between these 2 eyes. I'm going to try to do about 2.5 stitches across here. So after doing 4 or 5 stitches for the nose, bring your yarn up 2 rounds lower, then insert your yarn needle back inside the head, right in the center of that nose, and pull it out through the opening at the bottom. You want to make sure that that vertical stitch is straight underneath the nose. Okay, now to secure your strand, you will just tie these 2 in a knot and tuck them inside the head, and you'll do that for all of the embroidering strands that you do on this head. Okay, now we will be sewing on the ears. The pattern says to sew them 3 rounds down from the beginning circle. Here's the beginning circle. So 1, 2, 3. Keep checking them as you're sewing them on to make sure that you like the position. As you're sewing on the second ear, I double check constantly the distance between here and then here. When you're finished sewing on the ear, to secure it, just do 1 final stitch and then knot it. Okay, now we'll be sewing the detail around the eyes. So with a strand of black yarn on your needle, bring it up right to the side, the middle of the side of the eye. with these stitches around the eyes, you just want to make sure they don't come down this way and make the cat look angry. So like we did with the pink yarn, you'll secure the 2 strands at the bottom with a knot. Okay, now we'll do the white stitch underneath the eye. Into your needle right up where you started the black stitch. And there you go, the eyes are done. Secure the white strand like you did with the other strands. Just so the little pink detail in the ears, I've already done this one. You'll bring your yarn needle up right here at the middle of the bottom of the ear. Then make 1 tall stitch. Two shorter stitches, all starting at the same spot on the base. Okay, time to sew on the whiskers. So thread your white embroidery floss onto your yarn needle, insert it through the opening at the bottom of the head, and out 1 stitch over from the eyes. This top whisker will be at an angle. And the second whisker will be straight across. And you can adjust these as necessary on your cat so you get the look that you want. After you've secured the white embroidery floss with a knot, you're ready to sew on the body. You can sew this directly to the head because both the head and the body end with the same number of stitches. Just before you finish sewing the body to the head, you may need to add a little bit more stuffing so that your neck is not sloppy. And then finish sewing them together. Now that your head and body are sewn together, we'll work on the arms. So here's an arm already made. It just needs stuffed. And to stuff these tiny little arms, I do just a tiny bit of stuffing, and then I use a stuffing tool that I actually broke in half so that one side is jagged because I feel like it grabs the stuffing even better. Stuff the stuffing just right down into the ball of the arm, the ball or the hand. Okay, then to close the arm, you'll take your crochet hook and crochet through the top layer of the arm, just 2 single crochet stitches. Fasten off, and it's ready to sew to the body. Okay, so now you'll position the arms right below the head at a slight angle. So that they can face forwards or they can be pulled down to the side. You'll secure with a knot and weave in your ends. Now that both arms are sewed on, you'll be sewing on the legs. They'll start around the same place as the arms on the body, right at the bottom here. And also face forwards. And the legs have also been crocheted closed at the top. When you crochet along the inside of the leg, insert your needle through a stitch on the body and then a couple rounds up on the leg so it pulls the leg in closer to the body. on both legs. It's time to sew on the tail and the final step of this pattern. So position the tail right here between the back of the legs, up a round or two from the beginning circle. So guess what? Your little cat is done. All you have to do now is finish picking all the little white poly-fil fuzzies off of him. Thank you so much for joining me in assembling this little black cat. Please feel free to comment with any questions that you have, or you can email me at hello@teresascrochetshop.com. You can find the full pattern for this cat on my website, which is teresascrochetshop.com. It would mean a lot to me if you could like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting these tutorial videos as often as I can. Thank you guys. Happy crocheting!